What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Corner. Listen, today I'm going to be starting off the show a little bit differently than I normally would, but there's clearly, like, the world is just a weird place right now, and I know we typically talk about pop culture and things that we think are important, the things that we think are that we take for granted every day. And you know, it's hard for me. It's hard to get the words out, but it's also hard for me to go on Twitter or go on Facebook and see people that are complaining or throwing tantrums over movies and pop culture and idolizing these people and taking things just way too seriously, not knowing how good that we actually have it here. Take away take away the Snyder Cut stuff, right? And how painful that can be to some people, because I get it, right? We take that stuff seriously because it is serious to a degree, right? The way that he was treated, etc., so on and so forth. But I think it's time to take a step back and realize that these things are so small. They're so small. There are kids, innocent women, children, men, right now without homes, running from a tyrant, a dictator. Missiles in train stations. The sights are just absolutely horrendous. And yet we complain about the Batman, about Morbius, about this or that. It's easy to sit here from my nice, cozy house in Somerville, Massachusetts, right? perspective, I guess, is the way you should look at it. And I hate to start the show on like such a bad note, but like really start to think about it. If your biggest problem today is that you're not getting the casting that you want, or you're not getting the movie that you want, or you're not getting the director you want, or you're not getting this or that, just take a step back and realize how good you have it. Thank you. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, join the channel membership. The new schedule is going to be on Wednesday, Sunday. Those are for sure days, as well as trying to squeeze in other days as well when I can. But Wednesday and Sunday will be the days that I'm on. So you can count on that those consistent days. I'd like to welcome in my friend who I haven't seen in a long time, Mr. T.W. McKay. It's been a while since we've done a show together. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying a vacation right now, a little bit of a staycation, which is kind of nice, just for about a week. But not that work was stressful. It's nice to have a day off where you know you're not going to get called in. You know, you just get to kind of relax and do your thing. And
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying that. So
yeah, man. Staycations are sometimes better than vacations because vacations, I feel like waiting for a vacation is the best part. And then obviously, yeah, being on it. But each day you're on that vacation, like somewhere exotic, you're you're like, oh, it's ending very soon. Like you're always counting down the hours till it ends. I feel like the lead up's always the best part. But a staycation, you look at it, you're like 7 days at home. This is beautiful.
yeah, you get to
Like this is
sleep in. You
beautiful.
get to sleep in. You get to see family if that's what you want to see. And oh yeah.
Um, listen, what do you think about? I mean, you're Canadian, so and for once, I'm an American who's not, I mean, we're not involved. Like we're involved, but we're not involved.
Yeah, same
So
here.
um, I mean, do you know what I mean though? Like when like we need to step back. Like we need
it,
to.
it it really puts things into perspective. And I don't like I said I don't usually get to into too much of a serious topic either on the stuff I attend, but you know it does put things into perspective. And it
Yeah,
it doesn't mean like it doesn't mean, and I know you weren't trying to imply this when you were doing your statement at the beginning of the hour. um I don't think I think you can still be sort of critical of a business decision, but you don't have to act like a subhuman, you know.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. I'm not talking about like life goes on. Like
Yeah.
clearly, I'm here doing a YouTube show. Yeah, of course life goes on. But we can't act the way that we act. Like it's things like this because it's not going to end here. Let's
No.
let's not get it twisted, guys. If Vladimir Putin is successful in what he is doing, it's not going to stop there. That's
No. And
but
like this was something I think we had talked about the last time we were
absolute
together.
power corrupts absolutely. And he's
Well,
wanted this for a long time. He
this was a
said it.
guy. This was a guy. Yeah, this was a guy who watched. This was a guy who was old enough to watch, sort of to kind of see the Soviets not quite at the height of their powers, but he got to see them for most of his life, and to watch the Soviet Union crumble bit by bit by bit, and nations in the Warsaw Pact leave and leave and leave and leave until finally the wall came down. And yeah, and it
Yeah,
was over. And
exactly.
like
Exactly.
Sylvester
Yeah.
says, you know,
Yeah.
Putin was KGB before the dissolution of that office.
Yeah. He is a hardcore
And
KGB. That's how they walk too. People criticize his walk, but no. They
no, no,
criticize his
I'm
walk.
laughing because I'm like, this is a guy
He's
who has probably unlived more people than the people
Yes,
who are actually like at this moment either attacking the Ukrainians or fighting back the Russians.
exactly.
Like
He walks that way because he's and a lot of high ranking KGB members walk like that, and it's because some people are saying it's a early signs of Parkinson's, but it's not. It's his his right hand is always ready to
to grab a weapon.
utilize a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I don't want to start the show on a dreary subject, but
And
it
that's
is
why I sent
reality.
you, and that's also why I sent you something to kind of bring a bit of levity, to bring a bit of levity at the end of the situation, but still addressing the situation. Is this article here is coming from Task and Purpose, but it's been cited from a bunch of different places.
1 second.
Yeah, Tyser's looking it up. It's all good. It should be, I think, yeah. Which I thought was funny as a guy who loves Red Dawn.
Let me just get all this stuff. It's hard when you have all these when you have all these like overlays and stuff on.
Oh yeah.
All right, there it is. All right, so Jesus. So
That's really all. That's really all it is. That's in the Ukraine. That's a hijacked
that's
Russian
so
tank
crazy. That's
that they
so
sprayed
funny.
that they sprayed Wolverines on the side. For those who
So,
for those
and
who are
yeah,
unfamiliar with
you want to
for those who are
explain it
unfamiliar with
to them?
absolutely. For those unfamiliar with Red Dawn, I'm going to be speaking particularly to the original. There was a remake back about 2011, 2012, or something like along those
Yeah,
lines.
that was the one with Hemsworth.
Yes, and but the original came out around, I think it was 1985, and basic premise is the Soviet Union in collaboration with, I believe it's Cuba, successfully launch an invasion of the United States. And so this one small town basically are trying to, at least, if anything, kick the Soviets out of town. And so this ragtag group of teenage students turned
Militia.
soldiers, calling themselves the Wolverines, basically try and fight back and kick out the Soviets. Hence the reference here, which is
That's awesome. I like to
I
see
thought
that.
it was
The
amazing.
Ukrainians, you know what? They're resilient people. They really are. They're resilient. So,
And then obviously
um,
there's the whole history behind Zelensky himself,
yeah. So
which
he's
I
a
thought was kind of
comedian, isn't he?
he is a comedian who became the president of Ukraine, who starred in a film where a comedian unceremoniously becomes the president of Ukraine.
No way.
If I'm lying, may the Lord strike me down. Literally,
Is that legitimate? I
if you
thought
go to net,
I
if
thought
you
he
go
was
to
like a
Netflix,
stand up.
no, Ty. If you go to, he was an actor and a comic as well. But if you go to Netflix right now, at least I can speak for the Canadian sense. The advertised film at the top of the browser, the top of the service, is the film. I believe it's called Servant of the People
So
in
he's kind
English.
of so. I mean, because Ukraine only gained its independence years like in the last 20 years, I believe,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
after the fall of the
It's
Soviet Union.
uh
So, or
something
50
along
years,
those
maybe like
lines.
that. I don't know, something like that.
I'll give it a look. But yeah, that's basically the premise. It was a TV
So,
series. It
so
was a
they're
TV
not,
series.
they're not that old. So they're still trying things out, and that's awesome. He seems like he's doing
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
Yeah,
So,
Ukraine declared its independence from the Soviet Union. This is according to Wikipedia, so take this with a subatomic particle of salt. They became independent from the Soviets on the 24th of August of '91. Had an
oh
independence
yes,
referendum that December,
yeah.
and
So
then didn't install a constitution until '96. So we're just less than 25 years old. Just more than
yeah,
25 years old.
very, 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 very young as a country. So,
Yes.
they're finding their groove. Um, but guys, like in reality, all I'm saying is just remember how good we have it that we can sit here and argue about, or discuss pop culture and not have it having fear of that, you know. Um, like TW said, like I said, it's perspective, and it really makes you think. I mean, this is the first open onslaught invasion of this size since World War II in Europe. So it's not to be taken lightly. It's not to be taken
Mm.
as a joke. It's not. It's also not like it's real, right? It's easy to forget about right now, but guy, like, wake up. On to some pop culture stuff. By the way, by the way, uh, I have something funny to say later. But yes, so let's start talking about some of the news. I do want to start off with something because, listen, I've been a huge Will Smith fan since the beginning of when I could formulate my own thoughts. Right, Will Smith has
Yeah,
been someone who I've looked up to, someone, and I still do. I still find him to be a person of great morality. I don't know. He's not a bad guy, and he's never. uh, What happened happened. It was an emotional night. I'm not saying it didn't look like it looked really bad on Will's part, but the things that have been going on now. I mean, so he's been banned from the Oscars for 10 years. Now
yeah.
I'm not sure how. I'm I don't think 10 that it'll be 10 years. I think it'll be amended,
At some point
maybe
down the
in 3 or
road,
4, but
we'll see.
even that is a little harsh. What do you think?
I think the main reason, and I had a discussion with my dad about this actually. I think the reason why the punishment was so severe was it wasn't a statement, it was a physical action, and more importantly, I think the reason why it was so severe is because it happened on stage at the Oscars. If it was if it was behind closed doors, or if it was, at the after party or something like that, I could understand it being a year, 2 year, 3 year ban. But I understand, at least I'm going to gather what the logic was for it being 10 years of a ban.
It just seems
I still
very,
think it's
very
it's
harsh.
it's
And
harsh, but he is also, far as I understand, I could be incorrect about this. We'll go through the article, but I believe he is still eligible for nominations.
yes, he can still be not he can win. He just can't be there, um, and he can't even be there virtually. So
Yeah,
he he can win, but someone else, most likely the director or a castmate, will, depending on the film, would accept the award for him, and most likely, um, that would be a very brief speech. Like it wouldn't be like,
it would
we
be
thank.
more likely than anything else, because I've seen it would probably be like any other sort of in absentia in absentia acceptance of an award pre-pandemic, whereas opposed to receiving it
Ooh,
virtually.
you don't
Interesting.
think 10 years was enough?
Well, I mean,
Listen,
Chris Rock could have charged him. The LAPD did ask Chris Rock to his face, "Do you want to press charges?" And he said no.
I think there is a.
I'm not justifying his actions. Do you understand my
I am.
logic?
I am. Listen, I know I'm on the. I think I'm on the. If you were to, if you were to ask people where I stand, like where my opinion is it bad or good? It's probably they would say it's bad. But I defended him what he did.
And you weren't
Um,
alone. There were a lot of people who did.
I don't. I defend. Listen, Chris. It's one thing to joke about it. If it's a roast, a comedy like central roast, that's one thing, right? That's one thing. You sign up. Like if you're at a roast, whether you're a panelist, if you're sitting in the crowd or being roasted, you're there for a comedy act. The Oscars is not a comedy act. And to say something like that about someone who has a condition, I'm not saying physical violence is ever appropriate. But for some reason, I can't help but feel that I would have done the same thing. And
Which
maybe
is and
that
that's
makes
and
me a
that's
bad person.
I don't know. I can't I can't, and I'm not going to make a moral judgment of your argument. Or of your state of mind. But what I can say is this: I can say the fact that the Academy, the folks putting on the show, probably had to clear the joke first and foremost when it comes to that. Second, it kind of begs the question, right? If we go off of physically, committing, the word is assault because I
It
can
is
think of
assault.
no other. I can think of no
No,
better
it's
word.
100% assault.
And it begs the question, right? And this is a
Actually,
question this is a question each person I think is going to have to ask themselves. Do you believe it is appropriate to commit physical assault of an individual for a statement that is not directed at you, but is directed at somebody else that you know personally?
well,
Because
if it was a friend, no. But if it's your wife, in the eyes of the law, and well, in the eyes of right, in the eyes of the right, you file your taxes together, all that, right? So, yeah, I would defend my wife.
okay,
That's the way I see it. But
I,
assault,
I
you're
understand.
right. At the end of the day, slapping someone on live television is not a good thing. But if it was just some random guy that it's hard to put into place, because any guy that I know or any respectable guy that I know, if I was at a bar and someone said that about my wife, I would punch him in the mouth. Yes.
Okay.
Does it make a difference that it was on live television during the biggest ceremony of the year? Yes. Does it look bad that there was a fight between two persons of color while they're still trying, while they're still fighting to be more recognized by the Academy? Yes. Wrong time, wrong place is what I think Will is guilty of.
And personally, I'm on the opposite end. I don't think he should have been punished for 10 years. I think 5 would have been nice, but I think he should also recognize for himself how lucky he is that he is not in jail today.
No, and he very well
And I
could have been
think we also
arrested, but
and
what
I
would
think we
you
also and I think we also need to understand. Obviously, it was also Chris Rock's wish not to press charges. I don't know whether or not Chris Rock was aware of Jada Pinkett Smith's alopecia because she has been, I guess, sort of on and off public about it for a little while. But more than that, I think it kind of also begs the question, right? Is this when it comes to Hollywood? Is this another example of rules for thee and not for me? Right? Like you had
what?
to do well, you know what I mean?
No.
Well, no, I'm saying like the fact that it's okay that he's,
A
that you have
celebrity?
people defending his actions like that, right?
Oh. Oh, okay.
In a public way, and that it's okay here. And it's like, well, this is a guy who could, even if he pled guilty, he would not really fiscally or commercially suffer long term, most likely.
And it was very much an emotional night for him. He's They know. Listen, I know that people. I know that people don't want to believe this, but best like the 5 big awards, the people know they won.
Yeah, well, I mean, like a perfect example of a contextualization of that would be, even though this is an anecdote, so don't think this is an anecdote from a very long time ago, but like Kevin Smith went to the Spirit Awards, which is basically which it is for independent film, which basically it is the Oscars for independent film as opposed to mainstream film. And basically, they had said to him on the phone, or it was either him or his agent, like either them or his agent had said to him, "No, you really, really want to go." Basically, that implying that implying he'd won. I think it was for Chasing Amy at the time. But the point being, like when I'm saying another example of rules for thee and not for me in sort of a celebrity situation, is if you look at something that would have happened if it wasn't for the pandemic, would have happened a week after this other event, was if you look at the Super Bowl, everybody's in there with masks. There was a dude who was allegedly kicked out of the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium in LA for not wearing his mask. Yet if you go and look at all of the boxes, Affleck's not wearing his mask. JLo's not wearing her mask. LeBron's not wearing his mask. All of the famous people don't have to. And I'm not usually one of those their usual, oh, it's the political and social and economic and cultural elites against us. I'm not usually one of those people, but you can still look at something like that and you can go, this is not right. And you have to, and I think
Yeah,
it's sort of
I hear you.
it's an understanding of the moment in this case that Will Smith needs to be thankful and lucky that he is not in jail today.
Yeah, he wouldn't still be in jail. Just for
Well, no, but I'm
just
saying
so
he would have.
everyone knows that, by the way. He would have gotten arrested for the night, but
Well, he would have
he
gotten
would
arrested.
not have been he would
Well, like I'm
not
saying, if
still
no,
be
no,
in
no,
jail.
if they had formally pressed assault charges, it's
Yeah.
probably he would have been
Oh,
he would have no, yeah, he would have been arrested. He would have been placed in jail. He would have been out on bond and back in court at some point at a later date for his actual assault, for his arraignment at least, to determine whether or not he will plead guilty or not guilty. Obviously, it's not one to one with the Canadian
well,
system, but again, like
Liz, listen.
you know,
The
yeah,
joke the joke shouldn't have been said. It should
the
not have
joke was in
been
the joke was in poor taste.
yeah, the joke should not have been okayed because honestly, I'm not saying it's the Academy's fault, but it's not the Academy's fault because they've been looking for a way to spice up the event. And ever since what's his name hosted Ricky
Well,
Gervais,
Ricky Gervais when he hosted the Golden Globes.
yeah, they've been looking for that, right? Like someone who's very edgy
I
and Chris Rock wasn't even the host.
They should have just let him host the show.
Yeah. And he wasn't even the host. If he was the host, I don't know, maybe you get away with it. I know I saw Will laugh. I would, eh, eh, but
Will laughed before the joke was made, and then
and
when he made the joke, the smile melted away.
right.
But
And
there's another thing which I need. There's another thing which I need to go look at, which is apparently. So please, there was another angle with regards to after the slap happened, and that's all I'm going to say for the purpose of innocence here. Is there was another angle after the slap that I need to examine before I make that statement, but I think you and I'll write in private chat what I'm talking about and you'll understand. But yeah,
yeah. But again, let us know what you guys think. Do you think that one last thing about this. Just so everybody knows, Chris Rock's tour sold out
oh yeah, he made all
because of this.
of course,
So
because everyone's like,
he's not doing so bad because of it.
oh no, and Chris Rock even himself kind of he's already made made jokes about it on stage. Literally walked out on stage during, I think it was the first night of his tour, and went, which was not long after the Oscars, and went, "So how was your weekend?" to the crowd. So trust me, Chris Rock is fine. And I think one of my favorite memes to come out of this whole thing, there's two, was when Chris gets slapped. Wham! Everybody hates Chris,
Oh
and it
my
cuts to
God,
black.
imagine.
There's
That would have
that
been
one, and
so
then my other
funny.
favorite was. Did you ever watch SpongeBob much, or was that a bit past your time?
What?
No,
No.
like I know you're only a couple years old. You're only a couple years older than me, so like I wasn't sure. Like you watched
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob.
dude, people forget that SpongeBob was
Yeah, it started in
SpongeBob
started in
originated like a
'99.
couple years before me, and it really got big when I was a kid.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so okay,
so
so we can talk about this. Remember the episode where SpongeBob's doing the stand up and the jokes aren't landing and he starts
yeah,
sweating on stage and the guy's
yep.
yelling at him in the crowd?
And then what does he do to get the laughs? I forget.
Squirrel jokes.
Squirrel jokes. Yes, yes. And
No, but it's
Sandy's
the
all
point
butthurt
where the
about it.
guy's yelling at him in the crowd, right? The guy
Yeah.
yelling at him in the crowd. They edited the clip. The guy yelling at him in the crowd. Take my wife's name out your mouth. And
Oh
SpongeBob's
my
going.
God.
He was a GI Jane. I howled the first time I saw that. Because here's the thing. I have to to kind of contextualize it because I was house sitting the weekend of the Oscars because you know what it was. I know exactly what it was because it was the same Sunday we talked because the Sunday that Canada qualified for the World Cup, that night was the Oscars, or that weekend was the Oscars. So it was only probably a couple weeks ago that
Yeah.
we had talked, you and I. And so I was watching it because I'm like, I want to see what awards Dune wins because I figured Coda was going to win a bunch of the big things, but I'm like, okay, visual effects, music, as it should have been, all that stuff.
I'm really happy with Dune's performance at the Oscars.
As am I, because I really loved that movie, and I watched a fantastic breakdown by Hans Zimmer talking about what went into the production of that music, and it's fascinating. And I think my favorite part was the beginning of the bagpipe section. As have you seen Dune?
Me?
Yeah.
I just told you I'm very happy with Dune's performance at the
Okay. No,
Oscars.
like I wanted to make sure, but
Yes.
like yeah. So like the
I
scene
can't
when
believe
House
I cannot believe you just asked me that.
my brain's all melted.
Me of
It's
all people.
I figured I'd ask.
All right. Well, okay.
but
You know
but
what? I
yeah,
respect that. I respect that.
but either way, like because I didn't want to because it involves a scene, and I
And
so it's like the scene.
Dr.
So I would have
Hockey, no. The DA cannot press charges on him if Rock declines to.
no because far as I understand it, it's like it would be different if it was a like if the person assaulted was a minor, then the
Oh
DA
yeah,
could
yeah, yeah,
press
yeah,
charges.
yeah.
That's different. The state could press
Or
charges in the event,
a
or the parents could,
woman
or the parents
or
or whatever.
yeah.
But the point being, back to the Dune thing with regards to the construction of the music, is the opening of the part when House Atreides arrives on Arrakis and the bagpipes come out.
Oh my
Is
gosh.
the first chunk of that, like the little tiny chunk at the beginning, is not it's not bagpipes. It's guitar mimicking the sound of a bagpipe,
How
like
does
electric
one do
guitar.
that?
I don't know, but if there's one guy who could do it, it was the guy that they hired. His name is Guthrie Govan, and I lost my mind because Guthrie Govan is one of my favorite guitar players, and I was like, Guthrie Govan's on the soundtrack to Doom because I knew he was in.
Oh,
He's in Hans Zimmer's traveling band for when Hans Zimmer does his concert tours. He's part of the band, and he also does great stuff that I love. But I was just
okay.
amazed that there was that sound, and there was actual bagpipes, and there was other horns and whatnot to make that sound. It's a really interesting video, and I'll link it or tweet it or something. It's really cool.
You can't make this shit up.
I can't even believe they can do that with a guitar, make a bagpipe sound. I've never really been a fan of the bagpipes. I think they are overbearing, but
I understand that they can be.
but but in taste,
I'm also Canadian, and I also have Scottish descent generations ago. So I think I'm kind of genetically used to it.
yeah. depending on like the situation, of course, because like I don't know, there's
Yeah,
situations that
there's
call for
settings for it.
backups.
I
That
usually see it in like military settings or like on
I
what
was
we
gonna
have
say,
what's called
yeah,
like
military
remember
personnel
yeah.
funerals,
And
that
what we
kind of
have up
deal.
here is called Remembrance Day. Like for those unfamiliar, is basically as opposed to the states where you honor your vets on Veterans Day and memorialize your war dead on Memorial Day, we do both of those things on the 11th of November.
Which would make sense, right?
Which sort of, but I
Which
also
would make
understand.
sense,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to clown, which would make sense. The Veterans Day and Memorial Day, they're the same thing. And I don't understand why there's not saying that they don't deserve 2 different days. Please don't like clip me and make me out to be a villain, but I'm not saying that they don't deserve 2 days.
Tyler Roberts
Yeah,
hates the veterans and
yeah.
war dead. Confirmed. Dun,
Pop Culture Corner is against veterans.
dun.
No, that's the last thing I need to be canceled for that. But
War criminal corner. Dun
yeah,
dun.
yeah. Me and Vladimir Putin are our mugs right next to each other.
Hey, you
But
just don't want to. You don't want to go rushing into a situation like that.
yeah, definitely don't go Russian into anything. But next up, guys, we have some fun stuff to talk about right after this. As always, guys, make sure you help support the show, become a member, and send a super chat during the live stream. Remember, we do it for you and we do it for the culture. So I did want to take this moment to thank a couple of the people that help us out. As always, to Satva, I do work there as a day job. We just opened our store in Boston. And we do have some cool stuff going on. If you're in the market for some luxury furnishing, feel free to DM me and we can get you hooked up. Also, we are going to be hosting a panel and a table at Springfield Comic Con. It's a huge con. Well, it's not a huge con, but it's being run by the people that do Boston Comic Con, etc., so on and so forth. Saggy Melons and I will be So I am hosting a panel, and then Saggy and I are gonna have a table. So that's gonna be pretty funky and cool. I'm a host a panel with an actor and like lead him through the questions and stuff like that, which I will have my own camera there recording it so that we can put it up here as well. And then the whole day is going to be recorded basically, and it's going to be really fun. That's in July. So if you can make it out, fly out, come with us, come hang out with us at Springfield Comic Con. You can get your tickets very soon. I'll be keeping everybody updated. Thank you for that. That was my public service announcement. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. It's it's like a once in a, you know what I mean? Because this could be it, right? Like hosting the panel at a Comic-Con is a big step up for someone like me. So it's really exciting. There's some other stuff still with Showcase that's being worked on, but yeah, man, I'm so thankful. And Saggy's gonna be a part of it too, so that's gonna be fun. And who knows what's gonna happen, who we're gonna come across, and yeah, we'll be doing a live podcast like literally from the convention. So I mean, it's like a dream come true. Honestly, it's makes me smile. So let's get back to the other stuff. Yeah, man. Super exciting stuff, man. Super exciting. Have you got your Doctor Strange tickets?
I have not. My buddy is.
All right,
is the guy.
everybody's watching. Please boo TW.
I'm going. My
if you
guy,
have
my
not,
buddy's getting the tickets.
if you haven't got your tickets, we're gonna boo you too. No, Doctor Strange's pre-sales are doing. They're as the biggest since No Way Home. I know that's not saying much because No Way Home just happened, but what a pre-sale for Doctor Strange. It's insane. I'm really excited for this movie, man.
As am I.
I mean,
I'm
what do you
incredibly hyped
think?
for this movie.
What do you think that we're gonna see? What do you? Give me some idea. Oh shit! Oh, you haven't seen everything yet, right?
What do you
You're
mean?
that guy.
What do you mean?
You haven't watched all the Marvel movies yet.
Oh no, I've caught up everything except for Eternals, Hawkeye,
Oh,
and Moon Knight.
wow, really?
I
You-
caught up like since the last time you talked to me months ago, like before we got back together again. Pretty much from the start of, geez, what was it? May, something like that. Like the big whatever the big movie was before No Way Home, outside of Eternals. After that, I basically binged everything on Disney Plus.
Whoa,
I
okay,
caught all the way up.
great.
Everything
Moon Knight.
except for, like I said, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, Eternals, and then like
All
a
right,
couple other
all
one
right,
shots.
yeah, all right. So we'll scratch Moon Knight off for tonight. That's okay. Trust me. I kind of want to. I
Yeah.
want to do a 6-part review. Not
Yeah.
a 6-part review for us.
Yeah,
Like-
but like do like a
Do all 6 parts in one review.
yeah,
You
like
know
a
what I
sort of a
mean?
post mortem on the series.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, and
and
that's
yes, Sam, we are hosting a panel. It's going to be really fun.
one of my favorite things is well, one of the funny things was I guess in one of the episodes, is episode 3 where they have Ethan Hawke speak in Mandarin.
Yeah. Yes. So you'll get there. You'll get there.
No, I'm laughing because Simu Liu tweeted out, "Dude needs to fire like that man. Arthur Harrow needs to fire his Mandarin teacher."
Yes. And it just made me
Wasn't that what
laugh
you
because
said?
it's like a direct call. It made me think of John Cena for a second, and I was like,
Oh,
oh god.
when he's standing in the oh, he's standing in the ring. I'll say it
Yeah.
again in Mandarin, and
Yeah.
says it in Mandarin.
Speaking of wrestling, I heard this past WrestleMania was insane. I heard it was like the best WrestleMania in a long time.
I heard
don't wa-
different things. Like I heard
don't
from
watch
like William,
wrestling.
it was kind of, and I heard it from William. I heard it was like kind of good for what the price of the pay per view was, and
And it was
I've heard
2
other good
nights.
things from people we know. Yeah, and that was another thing. Was you don't have to do like 8 hours of a.
So
of a
do you
WrestleMania.
do you have to pay for 2 nights or is it included?
I'm not sure. I didn't watch WrestleMania this year. I haven't
I
watched
don't watch
WWE in a
wrestling,
while.
so
I watch AEW, but I just haven't watched WWE in quite some time.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's not something I care too much about, but I know this is something that I've been dying. I mean, I've talked to Black Ops about it a little bit, but he's just getting back into the Halo games, so he can't really tell me too much. But listen, this Halo show has got me hooked. I've never played Halo a day in my life. I lied. I've played Halo, but like it was like at a friend's house for like 30 seconds multiple times, and then I always asked him to stop playing video games because I've never really played them. And I'd be like, oh, let's go do something. We never really played for long. The only games I ever really played long were Red Dead Redemption, Injustice, Grand Theft Auto, and Call of Duty. Those are the 4 games I've ever played more than like 10 minutes.
And then I'm the opposite, where it's like I like the long-winded game. I play RPGs, so like I'll delve,
I just
especially when I was
don't.
young. I'm saying especially
Yeah.
when I was younger, like where I would dive 25, 30, 40 hours and plus into a game. Heck, I have an
Hello,
old save
Dark
file of
Star.
like, hello
Hello
there.
Seems some new faces tonight. Kevin's back. Hey, Kevin. Yes. So listen, I do have. I can say this with confidence. So I heard that Avatar 2 and Thor, the Dark World trailer, are premiering ahead of Doctor Strange. Now I got that from a pretty reliable source, and I am going to believe it until I don't. So as of right now, I heard that Avatar 2, Avatar was they said maybe Avatar, but definitely Thor. Thor's trailer will be debuting, kind of like at the end of Spider-Man. You know how it went into like that Doctor Strange trailer?
Yeah, that was
It's gonna
wow.
be the
I had
Thor
said
trailer.
Well, I had said the reason I thought two things was if it wasn't for Doctor Strange, it was because of Moon Knight not being over yet. That's the reason they haven't shown the trailer. Like
Yeah.
there's something in there. But then again, if you're dealing with creatures and gods,
Yeah,
I have an idea. All I
but
want for a post credit scene more than anything else, and not in any movie, is Love and Thunder. Like after Jane somehow gives up the powers, or
yeah,
something else
yeah.
happens. You
Well,
have,
we
the hammer's
know,
put down,
yeah,
something.
we know for a fact that they're coming to Earth for Jane. We just don't know how long they'll be on Earth for,
Because
right?
what I'm waiting for is, I'm not lying. I'm waiting for after the post credit scene, you see the hammer in the distance, and then you see
Oh,
someone pick it up, and then it pans up, and
yes,
then
right, right,
it's Beta
yeah.
Ray Bill, and then it's well, I would lose my mind. I would actually scream in the theater because Beta Ray Bill
So,
is one of
but
my
that's
favorite Marvel characters of all time.
yeah, but that's the thing. So, I am
Because he's
not.
already canon.
Yeah.
He's
No,
already
no,
in the
no, no, no,
MCU.
no, no. Yes, of course. The thing is I just don't know if Thor will get a fifth movie. I hope they do a like a double trilogy, because I think the character of Thor is what there's a reason they're giving. Not many characters from phase 1 made it to phase 2, and even less than that are getting another solo film, right?
Yeah,
And that's Thor and Spider-Man most likely. Um, so for me, not Spider-Man's not phase 1, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
From the Infinity Saga, phase 1, it's Thor. And Hulk will not get another solo. If
Yeah.
well, they're saying World War Hulk. I'm still
I'll believe it when I see it.
exactly for that one.
And
I'll
then
believe it when I see it, like
for
legitimately.
Doctor Hockey, there, I'll put this into perspective. Games don't take too long. We all, as we've grown older, just have less time on our hands.
They definitely take longer to make
They
nowadays.
take longer to make. Oh God,
Yeah,
yes.
they definitely take longer to. I don't know if because I don't know what you mean by that. Like how long they take to complete to make them.
No, how
Yes,
long to complete with regards to?
the
I think Doctor
story,
Hockey's referring to the
the
narrative.
storyline.
Yeah.
I heard people like current video game like because it's worth the money. You know what I
Like I
mean?
said,
You're paying.
I don't think it's that they take longer to finish the narrative. I think it's we just have less time on our hands.
I don't know what this is. Oh, Kingdom Hearts 4. That's what that is. And guess what? The only reason I know why KH4 is
Is because
Kingdom
I use the
Hearts
shorthand in our DM.
is because I would have literally not if you
I
never sent me that,
lost
I would not know what
I
he's talking about right
lost
now.
my mind this morning. I
So,
absolutely
okay.
lost my mind.
All
But anyways,
right.
I just give me 2 seconds. I gotta step away. If you want to set up whatever the next news story
Oh,
is, I'll be back in a
I
second.
was gonna
Gonna do
hit you
some
with the
stuff.
Kingdom Hearts thing,
Oh,
but
sure. Let's do that then. Let's do it while I'm here. It's nothing. It's nothing scary. Like I can put it off for a minute or two.
wait 1 sec.
So for a bit of context for those who might not be familiar with it, for our viewers, Kingdom Hearts is a game series that basically was created by the company that is now known as Square Enix, and in a collaboration with Disney. So basically, they kind of have a little sort of multiverse within the game world, and each self-contained world, with regards to Disney, is based on a certain Disney property. So there's a world based on, like, if we're looking at the first game, there's a world based on Aladdin. There's a world based on The Little Mermaid. There's a world based on
Wait, really?
Hercules. Oh yeah, and it's basically combining that with like Final Fantasy characters as well as original characters for this story. And it's the reason why these things came together was back around the time of the production of the first game, which, by the way, just celebrated its 20th anniversary. Oh my
Wow.
goodness! Yeah. So back in the day, Walt Disney of Japan and like Disney of Japan and Square were in the same building, so they shared an elevator, and the director of the first game, Tetsuya Nomura, basically got in and pitched this idea of fusing those stories, and they're like, this is kind of crazy enough to work. And the franchise has gone on for 20 years. There have been entries on consoles and mobile, handheld and mobile games as well. And they just started getting into browser games in the last sort of 6 or 7 years, I think. But I'm just really excited because Kingdom Hearts 4 was such a surprise today. If you're looking for the video, the reason I didn't send the video is it's about 7.5 minutes.
I was just gonna
Because
say, no, I found it, and I was like, I
yeah,
don't get it. It's
the reason it's about
cartoons.
7.5 minutes is because there was a couple of game announcements as well as like
Yeah, so
hyping up the
I'm not.
20th anniversary.
I can't play
So yeah,
that.
but like as far as showing off, the other thing was, hey, they're working on a new mobile game called Kingdom Hearts Mobile Link, and they're also working on Kingdom Hearts 4, which came out of complete left field, especially after we just got Kingdom Hearts 3, and with regards to an announcement of a new game, we haven't had the close back to back like that outside of like Melody of Memory, one of the, I can't call it a spin-off. I'll call it one of the other games in the series. Because the thing about Kingdom Hearts is, even though you have numbered games, you also have other games that are within the world. But everyone says they're spin-offs. Anyone who's ever played those games know they're not spin-offs. Like they're like, what's so fun? No, seriously, like there's Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, both are PS2 games originally,
Oh,
in
really?
02 and 06. Yeah, they went all the way back. And the game in between them, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, because this predates the PSP even, was a Game Boy Advance game. And because it wasn't numbered as Kingdom Hearts 2, everyone's like, oh, this is a side game, it's a spin-off, not realizing, oh, we kind of need this for the story. It's a very
Interesting.
it's kind of like the MCU, where especially after like phase 2 and
Yeah.
like phase 2 into phase 3, it kind of builds onto itself.
Right. So That's interesting.
Yeah, so to
And
speak to what Donovan's, because I know you're probably a little confused by that, there was a massive leak from I believe it was Nvidia's website. They had somehow hacked into like a list of games that are supposed to be compatible with Nvidia's GeForce graphics cards, and they hacked into this list, including a bunch of games that like not only haven't come out yet, a bunch of them haven't been announced. And some of those games that just got announced recently, one of them was Kingdom Hearts 4. Another one that just got announced recently was, oh my gosh, there was a couple of games that kind of came out of nowhere, where it's like, oh, we're getting this, holy shnikey, and then it turned out it was on this massive list, and so now there's an assumption by particularly the people we know, like JP. Shout out to JP. I hope you're doing okay, our friend JP from
yeah,
Enter
JP,
the
call
Metaverse,
me.
and yeah, it was a I met he messaged me on Discord today, and we were freaking out together about just how excited we were that this game is not only real, but there's a theory that because some of those games have been on that list that weren't announced before, that's like, okay, that the hack and the leak is potentially true.
Right, right. Well, that's good. That's good for you guys, man. I did get a PlayStation 4, and I've been playing video games here and there. But I do want to talk a little bit about Halo, the show,
Yeah.
because I mean you're a gamer guy, so as far as the helmet thing goes, so I'm not going to spoil the new episode for anyone, but for the most part, we're getting they're this show does a good job for people like me who don't understand or don't know the backstory,
Yeah.
and all the mystery of it is good. The visual effects were better, much better in episode 3 than episode 2, so I was really happy about that.
Yeah. I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
All right.
Like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I was really excited about. I was really, 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 really happy about the visual effects in episode 3. and we kind of get a little bit further. We dive a little bit further into the backstory of why John or 117, whatever you want to call him, Master Chief, why he is different, and why he is maybe special in comparison to the other Spartans and UNSC, or is it USNC or US? I don't know, whatever it is. But for me, I don't watch. I never played Halo, so this is a whole new territory for me, and I think they're making it very easy on people like me who don't have that backstory or don't know. This show. They did a good job. They're not making it so you have to rely on on playing the video games to know what's going on. They didn't just jump in. It's but they also didn't rush into it, right? There's a good balance. I was definitely nervous for this show. It's not as good as, like, let's say The Witcher. I'll tell you that right now. It's not as good as The Witcher, but it's in its own way. It's fun to watch, and I look forward to it every week. So that's how I know that's how I know it's a show that I'm going to keep watching. And yeah, some of the acting is, like CW. Halo could have been on CW. Put it that way. As of right now, Halo could be on the CW. Some of the acting is, but it's like Supernatural quality, because Supernatural, it's not like the new CW shows like The Flash, which are god awful.
I stopped watching The Flash after like season 3.
Yeah, well, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up
Yeah.
again. No, but what are you thinking about the Halo show as a person who, or are you watching it?
I don't have Paramount Plus.
Are you joking?
No,
Do you have Disney Plus?
I do.
All right.
Yeah, so like I can watch Moon Knight. I just have to get to it.
Okay. Well, interesting. Well, it's definitely
It's not like
it's $4.99, dude. Get it.
Oh, that's
And there's a
$4.99.
trial.
I'll give it a look. I mean, not that it's bad. It's just like I have a bunch of streaming services. Like I've got like
dude, I'm
two
deleting
sports
Paramount
things.
Plus. I'm deleting
two
it
sports things. I
immediately
got
after
Disney Plus. I
Halo's
got
over.
Netflix, and
Yeah.
It's just really about making sure I don't wind up with too much month, not enough money. I don't want to wind up in that kind of situation. I was kind of.
You fucking moron!
Sorry.
I hope that the kid, the parent didn't say that to the kid. Also funny about that situation. Also funny about that situation, Shree. John Campea is also Canadian.
Wait,
Yes.
yeah, I know that's.
No,
Hey, that was a 2-for-1 make fun of you. I didn't even realize that I double zinged you there.
Who?
You.
Oh yeah, it was great.
He's a Canadian.
I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing at Shree's story about her going to the Sharks rink because they had an open skate yesterday.
Wait, what is this? I have to
Shree
tell
had
you
a
this.
little
We
story
took
there,
our
yeah.
kids to the SJ Sharks ice
San Jose
rink.
Sharks, yeah.
So, San Jose Sharks ice rink yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Can you skate? Can you skate on the ice, or is it like are they like practicing?
No, like you can. It's like you're saying, it's open to the public in the evenings there, so it's an open skate.
Oh God, I would love to skate on like the ice at a professional ice rink.
And
so cool.
this gets even funnier when you get to the third part. The dad yelled, "How can you call yourself Canadian and not skate?" I can't skate. It's the worst feeling in the world. I can't. I don't know. My problem was as a child, I particularly gave up on things rather easy.
So you can't skate?
No, I need to relearn. There's a pond. There's a pond.
Man,
like
I could teach you. I'm a very good. I've taught like 9 people how to skate.
Here's the thing. People from Massachusetts who can skate have been causing people from Toronto who can skate misery for far too long. Thank you.
No.
Don't you point at me like that. I hate the Bruins.
Woo! Oh God, man. I mean, I can't say enough about that show though. So, you know, it. Uh, uh, I'll ask you this:
Yeah.
his helmet's off a lot. Is that a bad thing?
I won't say it's a bad thing as long as there's especially because it's an adaptation. They already came out and said that this is going to take place in its own timeline. It's not like a television retelling of the video games.
Right. And it's not
So this is
canon to
already
the.
so this is already a different world anyway. So it can operate under different rules. So like I said, it doesn't bother me as much, but I've played Halo. I own Halo, Combat Evolved Anniversary. I own Halo 3. I own Halo 4. I played a bunch of Halo 3 growing up. So, but the thing is, I think particularly because I don't have the direct involvement, like the direct love that somebody like Jimbo, for example, used to have, or like other people we know have of Halo. It's kind of I'm not the guy to judge or the guy to ask about it. It would be different, like if we were talking Star Wars or DC or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Well,
particularly Star Wars.
I wouldn't have to ask the question if it was the
Yeah, we
Star
can we
Wars or
can both we
DC.
can both have opinions on it.
But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the show? Do you like Halo? Do you like what they're doing? It's definitely very much centered around Halsey and the creation of Cortana, as well as finding the key, or finding Halo. I suppose. I guess I'm figuring it out as we go. Because that was my biggest question: is what the fuck is Halo? Why is it called Halo? I haven't seen one thing that says this
Have you
should be
not
called
have
Halo.
you not seen the Halo yet in the show?
I don't know what the Halo is, so no, and don't spoil it.
I don't. Well, it depends on if it's kind of like the video games exist already. It's like no, because it's another example when I think about it's like no spoilers on that front, and I'm thinking it's kind of how I felt about the Winter Soldier, like when Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out.
What about it?
Well, like the fact that obviously people outside of our sphere probably didn't like people,
Oh, they didn't know that
normies
Bucky.
not knowing that Bucky Barnes was the Winter Soldier. I'm like,
Right, right.
obviously, as a guy who grew up with Bucky Barnes again is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I'm like, okay, so I already know Sebastian Stan's back. Yay, Bucky didn't die. They are doing the full Winter Soldier thing.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. So the
Yeah.
Halo, I'm not going to spoil it too much with regards to narrative, but if you want to know what it looks like, did you watch the Book of Boba Fett? All of
Yes.
it?
Yes.
The
I
place
liked it.
Mando shows up to
Mm-hmm.
before he goes to the planet Luke's on,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Oh.
So if you haven't seen that yet, then you haven't seen the Halo.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, like that, and I don't think I'm spoiling too much.
No, you're not. No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That makes sense. I know that there's like an ancient or like a place, that's like there's something that we don't know about yet in the show, and it's leading up to that. It's amping up and I can tell,
Yeah,
because he's having flashbacks, because every time he touches this thing, like it sends him into like a shock, and he can see his past before he was brainwashed by the Spartan team thing. So
yeah.
it's been an interesting ride. Next up, guys, listen, we gotta talk. We gotta talk about the Ezra Miller. So let's get into it, right? I'm just realizing now I don't have a picture to put up. Usually, I'm just realizing it now, so don't worry about
It's
it.
okay.
No, Ezra Miller, guys. In the future, as the character Barry Allen, and should they recast him? Did they have a meeting? Did they talk or offer help to him? All those things we're going to talk about right now, real quick. And then that will lead us into the merger. And those are our final two topics of the day. And they're going to take the longest. We're already at an hour. So I'm going to try to keep this as precise and not off the rails as possible. Ezra Miller got into some trouble in Hawaii. This is not the first time he's been in trouble, and I promise you it will not be the last. And that's what Warner Brothers Discovery didn't, because that's what we have to call them now. WBD does have a ring to it, though. WBD. I don't know why. It does have a ring to it. WBD.
Sounds like CBD.
Yeah, WBD. It doesn't. It still rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's not bad.
it's not
And plus
intrusive.
And plus the new.
But saying
The-
Warner
plus the
Brothers
new-
Discovery is intrusive.
Well, it's like saying ABC Disney, right? It's just
Right.
it feels weird. Especially I'm glad that they did update the logo, so it's got the old Warner Brothers, water tower logo with Warner Brothers Discovery next to it. It looks nice.
Hunter Iggy, what's going on, man? Never. It's always good to see. We've seen quite a few new faces tonight. Make sure to subscribe. Actually, I'm going to get to your question in just a second because I think that would be Andrew Casale, man. What's going on? Oh, recast with Grant Gustin. See, now I don't think it would work. I know. I know what you mean though. Like people love Grant Gustin, and listen, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy him as the Flash to a degree. In the seasons that have come since the last 3 or 4 seasons, I'm not saying it's him because I think he has the potential to be a very good Barry Allen, but the writing isn't there. The writing, his dialogue, it's always so corny and dramatic, whereas the Flash is a very lost comedian. Like he's like a lost comedian. He's lighthearted, even in the darkest of times. That's just who he is. He's always very hopeful, and I think Ezra Miller had things that he needed to work on as the character for sure. He was not perfect by any means, and I don't think he's the standard for what the Flash, can or should be. That being said, he got into some trouble in Hawaii. He did get arrested.
Yeah. When it comes to Ezra, they got to figure their stuff out.
So I'd like to figure it out right now. As acting as if you and I ran Warner Brothers, you and I right now, we're gonna speak like we own Warner Brothers, right? And it's up to you and I to make the decision. Talk it through. Pros and cons. So, what are some pros to offering him help and continuing with him as your lead? What are some pros? One, the pros would be you showing empathy, right? Maybe it would look good for Warner Brothers to, instead of just firing him like they did with Johnny Depp, giving him the opportunity to rehabilitate. I think that would look good for Warner Brothers as a company. So that could be a pro, right? You get that sentiment from people. Definitely, as a company, we need to come out, right? Again, I'm speaking as I own it. We need to come out and we need to make an announcement. We need to make an announcement about how we are going to help him get rehabilitated and get the help he needs. And then we're going to continue with him as the Flash, conditionally, of course. So, what are your thoughts?
Perhaps have them finish out, when it comes to Ezra, maybe finish out Ezra's contract and then go to Ezra and say to them, we're willing to have you back under the condition that you go for some sort of anger management courses or something along those lines, where you present them with, kind of that ultimatum but also you want to.
Wait, the
You're doing it from a something.
Ultimato?
Ultimatum, what?
Ah, you've never seen Community?
Now, hang on. What episode was that in? The ultimatum.
The when they
I-
the pillow fight, the pillow war between Troy and Abed.
Yeah.
Not when they're in the room and Troy's like, I'm giving you the ultimatum. You either give me the whole
Forgot
tomato
about that.
or
Oh, I love that show.
it's so good, dude. It's so good. No, sorry, continue.
But yeah, no, like sort of give Ezra an ultimatum. Say to them, okay, you can, like you will continue. We will extend your contract on the condition that you go for these classes or courses or whatever. Just to because it would be good for Ezra and it would also look good for Warner's to not straight up just kind of we're gonna kick Ezra to the curb, right?
Right.
Because I think there's room for opportunity, but at the same time, like you also don't want to diminish what Ezra did, right? Like assuming that the report, like the police report, and everything in it is valid and was largely unprovoked, that it was basically them just singing and then Ezra freaked out. But
Okay. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's such
Makes
an
sense.
it's such a strange situation because it came across so suddenly,
And
and in such a
to Sh-
weird way.
to Shree's point, no, we do not have all the facts in the
No, we
case,
don't.
but there are people on set that said Ezra.
Oh,
How
on the
did
set of The Flash, you mean? Yeah, yeah.
yes that and then this is even before. This is back
Yeah,
when
this is
Ezra.
geez,
Yes,
was
this is
working
back when
on the movie. Yeah.
and then before, I think it was like a year ago, they got in trouble for seemingly choking a woman.
Oh, that
So
situation. I thought you
that
meant the.
situation, plus then on during the filming of the movie, they would have breakdowns, like mental breakdowns on set. That's reported that someone that was on set with Ezra said that he would. They would.
Yeah, it wasn't violent. It was just the
Yeah,
fact that
he would just.
Ezra would get
They
in.
would just get so
Would kind of
overwhelmed.
get so
Yeah,
overwhelmed and just be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And
yeah.
I understand the situation, but at the same time, you still gotta
Right,
kind of look at yourself. And
right, and yes,
if you're aware that you're in a situation like that, I think, and that's an interesting thing because it kind of begs the question: were they doing anything? They being the studio in this case, was Warner's doing anything, or was it kind of just another one of those situations of Warner's likes to dust all of this under the rug, because clearly they've done this before. This was a production that was under the old pre-WBD regime,
yeah.
so this clearly is not new behavior for Warner's. If we're
Um,
talking, if we assume for the moment that if we're operating under the assumption that this was genuinely not addressed, not reported by cast and crew to management or to higher levels of, the HR or anything like that.
yeah.
If we assume that for a moment, then it kind of comes off like another. Just add it to the list of stupid, right?
Right. And I did want to answer this question. And before I do it, yes, Ezra does use the pronouns they, them. So that was my fault. I do apologize. And I do know that. So it was just kind of I was just kind of rolling. So honestly, as an addict and an alcoholic myself, clearly they are having trouble. Like it's when things like this happen, it's it's most of the time a cry for attention at first,
Yeah.
and then it becomes a problem. Slowly and surely it starts. And if no one, trust me, if someone helped me, or just put me, like when the signs, when all the signs were pointing towards what they were, when I became really bad, I wish someone had pulled me aside and just slapped me in the head. That's and I'm talking about myself. I'm
Yeah,
not
well,
saying I'm not
it's a
saying
perfect
someone should pull
example.
aside Ezra and slap him.
No, but it's a perfect example of. I'm trying to put this into words. It's one thing when your actions and your problems affect yourself. It becomes another issue entirely when it begins to affect other people. And what I mean is like when your actions, your response to your issues begin to affect other people.
Right.
But
So
more than that, and another thing that I was going to say was, I'm just going to try to remember my thought there for a second. But yeah, it was not just that; it was also, dang it, I had it, but it was go on. It'll come back to me.
um so anyway, yeah. So what other actors would you like to see in the Flash movie, like other Batman? So in the Flash movie, I do think that I think they postponed it because of Doctor Strange. Now, hear me out. I think, and Marvel in general, I think No Way Home and Doctor Strange are what are I think those are the reasons that the Flash was pushed back. Because if it was if it was like a theatrical thing, like a COVID, like a pandemic thing, they would have pushed it back a couple months and then assessed again. They wouldn't have just made the decision for a year. Um, so, in my opinion, I think they're going to be adding, and I think there is a potential that we are going to see Superman, like Superman, Henry Cavill, and I think that uh, those. I know there was some leaks and stuff like that. I do think that they left things out of those test screenings. So I think, I don't know. I think they're going to be putting other characters in this film. Um, that could be interesting.
Yeah,
That could be game changing.
I think it's
Honestly,
possible. But
uh,
with regards
we're not going to
to,
see too many crazy people, but I'm interested to know if it's honestly if it's a bad Barry, or if at the end we find out it's the Reverse Flash or something like that. Uh, I'm or like is the Reverse Flash going to show up in a post credit scene? Because honestly, the Reverse Flash is, if they're going to stick to the script, like if they're going to stick to the books and the lore, the Reverse Flash is the reason that Barry became the Flash.
yeah,
So how is he not in this movie?
I could see them doing that. But then
There's
again,
no
I
reports
don't
of
know.
him being in, like, Reverse Flash being in the film. I haven't seen one leak or scoop about Reverse Flash in the movie. So I don't understand how they're making this movie without the Reverse Flash in it. It just doesn't. I don't understand how he's integral. He's
Oh no,
integral.
I understand, and I'm with you. I'm just like I don't know either. And perhaps that is it. That second Barry is in fact Reverse Flash in disguise or something like that.
Yeah, like in
Well,
disguise, and then
take a look at season one of CW Flash, right? They created
right,
the
the
character of
Harrison
Harris.
Wells thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the plot twist. It was it was what's his face. Oh my gosh, Eobard Thawne changed his
yeah,
face,
yeah.
to look like that,
To look like
to look like
yeah,
Harrison
to look
Wells.
like Harrison Wells. So, and I thought that was like one of the best parts of that show, was that mystery and intrigue to it. So, um, what I'm really happy about, except eh, I'm really happy that there's not going to be like Team Flash, but then again, it does look like they end up having like some sort of team.
Team
So
Flash is not a bad concept when if it's speedsters, if it's which again, what blows my mind is I'm like, we're having all these other speedsters.
As long as Iris doesn't say
no
we are the
disrespect,
Flash,
no
I'm
disrespect to
good.
Impulse. Iris had her own cool time travel story, and why they didn't do that, I don't know. Candace Patton even said in an interview years ago, like Iris had her own cool thing that I'd love to do, like as far as in the comics. But more importantly, is I'm like, okay, we've gone what 4 seasons without, or maybe 2 appearances by the other major comic Flash. There's no Wally West in all of this.
Right.
Like,
Right.
well, like no, like Wally left in Keenan Lonsdale left the show in
I know.
season 4 or whatever it was, but which is kind of crazy. And I'm like, if the issue was him leaving, I'm like, why not recast? I'm like, it's Wally West. He is one of the most important characters when it comes to anything related to the Flash, because I like the
Yeah.
whole
Wally's one of
legacy
the
of, like, I
best.
like the generational speedsters thing.
Yeah. What I don't like is the daughter. The in the Flash show, the
Oh,
daughter.
XS? Yeah.
Yeah, she drives me insane. But
What blows my mind is I'm like, they went this. I don't know. I'm so. It was so weird that they made. I understand why they did it to simplify the timeline, but
yeah,
like why they had.
he
Bart,
doesn't think I've
why they
read
had
Crisis
why they
on
had
Infinite
no why
Earths.
they had Bart no why they had Bart yeah yes why they had Bart like being his son as opposed to being his grandson.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I would love to have seen them actually go through with the whole idea of, you know, the Flash having twins and having to send them into the future because something crazy is happening in the present. And then somehow you can have, like in as far as editing that story, you could have it like they lose what year he's in, what year they're in.
So I did want to talk about this article, and then we'll jump from the Flash in general. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am a little nervous. I do not think they're going to recast Ezra for this movie. It's already
Oh, there's too much
way.
done.
And honestly, if they play this correctly, this will blow over. This will blow over. And I'm not saying that it should. Honestly, that it kind of makes me sick that I live in a world where it will blow over. But this is just this week's news. In a couple weeks, people are going to forget all about this. People are never going to forget about Will Smith, but that's because, it is what it is. But honestly, the general public, like the non moviegoer, does not know that Ezra Miller did this. Like, or
Plus, I
maybe
think there
they
are a
do.
bunch of people who don't know who Ezra Miller is.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't know who he is. So, or they, I'm sorry. I keep doing that. Who they are. So, you know, honestly, like I think that's what Warner Brothers is kind of counting on right now is just kind of this blowing over. But that's just me. Maybe I'm a cynic. I don't know.
I don't know, and I like because we'll find out. Because it's again, I think it's a fact that Ezra, outside of being the Flash, kind of has a relative anonymity. I
But
mean,
with Will Smith, I mean,
it's kind of nuts to think about
Apple.
the fact that you have so many people out here who could see Ezra in 2 movies that of a 2 high budget Warner Brothers motion
Right.
pictures,
You don't. I mean,
and yet
they're
basically,
they're not
those
they're not
movies are
taking them
kind of
out
gonna
of
are gonna be poof gone
yeah,
because
they're
the
not
movie's already out.
yeah,
Fantastic Beasts
they're not
is already
taking
out.
that off. I mean, they're not doing anything about that, right? Like I have a
I
hard
do not
time.
think, and I also don't think the postponement. I do not think the postponement of those projects was
No,
for
it
was
happened.
because of what Ezra did. Because
No,
they
they
postponed everything.
postponed it before he did it.
It would also be something else if it was the fact that all the projects got postponed. This and Black Adam and Shazam 2, all that got postponed. There's a reason for it. I don't know what it is. Perhaps it is narrative retooling for synergy or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, J.J. Abrams is still in Warner Brothers.
Yeah, well, I
Yes.
mean, he's still working on
He's
Cape
still
Crusader.
tapped. Yeah, he's still tapped for, like, and the sad thing, the real fact is, Warner Brothers didn't hire him just for DC. They really want him for other projects.
And I want to see
Mostly.
what those are. I don't mind Abrams as a filmmaker.
No, I've always liked J.J. Abrams. Honestly, I'm not like I'll be the first one to admit it too. Everyone has this hate on for J.J. and it's because of Star Wars. Now everyone thinks he's a crap director.
He's all Jar Jar Abrams,
Yeah, people always trash him now because of the Star. The worst thing he ever did was sign on to Star Wars. Honestly,
The
I get
worst
it.
thing he ever no, the worst thing he did was the worst decision he made was to sign on to 9.
To what?
9, like to episode 9.
Oh, I was like, to what? Yeah, yeah. He should have
Because
cut and
The
run
Force
after. He should
Awakens
have cut and
was
run
great.
before that.
But I will obviously well, I'm not going deep down the Star Wars rabbit hole because I like the sequels. They're not without their faults. They're not without their criticisms. Some of which I agree with, but I like those movies.
Ben Affleck is not does not have the same problem as Ezra.
No, well, no,
Because
Affleck's issue was also like 2 decades ago.
yeah, but Affleck's issue was alcoholism, and he didn't assault anybody.
Yeah.
He just checked into a facility, like
They
it wasn't.
Well, they finished production. They finished production on the
Yeah,
Snyder Cut.
it's
All of
completely
his stuff
different.
on the Snyder Cut before they did the additional stuff
Yeah,
for the
you
finished
also
movie.
can't. Yeah, you can't discriminate. You can't fire someone because they admitted to having a problem.
Yeah. No, but like not even that. Like they finished Zach's
Most
part.
companies have things
Yeah.
like and that leads us to the last point. I know what you were gonna say. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I do have to start wrapping and getting
Yeah,
to the
go right
final
ahead.
thing.
It's all good.
With Ben, with most companies now, they offer, like, when you sign up if I don't know, you have health insurance, whatever, SAG insurance, whatever it is. Most of the time nowadays, there's something like you get, whatever company you work for will offer you, like, help if you have like behavioral therapy.
Yeah. Like,
Whatever. It's something you can get through, insurance, etc., so on and so forth. So are they offering him help if he needs it, right? Is he willing to do it? We don't know everything, so I'm sorry. It sucks to talk about, but you know, Ezra's in a tough spot. He definitely needs to get better. What he did was unacceptable, and people look up to him, especially when you play a role like a superhero.
Yeah.
When
and
you play a role like a
they'll-
superhero, like
they got to figure their stuff out. They just have to. Because if they don't, it's gonna affect them, and it's also gonna affect other people. Like I said earlier.
yeah. So a lot of projects of theirs are delayed or are being looked at. Are they in jeopardy? We don't know. For Will Smith, because I forgot to say it earlier, Apple and Netflix have dropped his biopic, and I'm unclear on what the future is for Bel Air. He is a producer on that. I do not think he was with them right now, although I'm not sure. But last but not least, guys, today's show, a lot of announcements have been made about the merger, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. But before that, I forgot about this when we were talking about Thor. So this thing came out that's potentially real. I don't know, but it made me laugh because I hope
It
that's
looks
not.
it looks real.
I hope it's not.
But no, like RJ made a good point the other night on the stream. Was basically we haven't seen it in context. As much as I might not like this design, we haven't seen it in context. It might just be kind of temporary or the first time we see Gore the God Butcher.
But this is not at all what Gore looks like.
I agree. Trust me. one of my favorite Marvel runs, the last sort of decade and a half is God Killer and God Bomb. So, like,
Like,
I'm
there's a
I'm
reason that
very
Gore
aware,
looks the way he looks.
and I'd
And like,
imagine I would
dude, he
imagine
looks
that
he
there's
looks like Gore is supposed to. For anyone who doesn't know, oh my god, let me get a picture of him.
yeah, I'd imagine that
Dude,
there's
Gore is one of the
probably a narrative.
scariest looking
Oh, he's great.
villains
I love
in
Gore the God
Marvel.
Butcher. I love Gore. But the thing is, like I said, we'll see what if maybe they go through the transformation. He goes through the transformation in the movie
Yeah.
into what he becomes, or like this is some sort of visage to present themselves as something other than being the God
Okay.
Butcher and then twist it.
Now let me know in the comments. Is this even remotely close to this? Hold on. If this is in fact the design that Marvel Studios goes with, and that's his final form, and not something like this, I am sorry. I will not take that seriously. I'm unless somehow he's the most compelling villain I've ever seen.
And I mean, it's Christian Bale, so
There's potential.
trust me when it comes to the performance.
But there's
I'll give
something
him some
about
leeway.
Gore's appearance. Like, this does not look like a God Butcher. This looks like the guy. This looks like the villain from 300.
Yeah, it does kind of look like Xerxes, doesn't it?
This looks like a God Butcher. Like a god would look at this and be like, like shaking in their boots.
Yeah, and I'll give you another image here of him fighting Thor. I want to find a cool piece from Beats, who is the guy who did a bunch of the covers and a bunch of the old art for like the arc that Gore showed up in the first time. If I can find it.
But yeah, so if that's the final, if that's even a look, I hope that is so. I hope that I hope it's fake.
So I'm gonna put this in the private chat. Here's another. Well, I thought it was a good point, Silent. I don't know.
What's
It was
RJ's
a point.
point? What was
It was
RJ's
a
point?
point. No, that like we didn't see this in context. It is
Oh,
just
the
the women.
context thing. I'm sorry. I don't buy that, because a toy. Listen, think about it. Like honest to God, think about it. If it's the first, if it's an image of a toy, it's got to be something relevant or mainstay to the movie, not just some like beginning form before he becomes what he becomes. If I was selling a toy, I'd be selling the toy of what he becomes, right?
They also haven't
The
sold, don't forget
actual God
don't
Butcher.
forget they also haven't sold any toys yet. This is a leaked image.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying though. If it, like, again, back to the point, I hope it's fake, because if it's fake, I am going to be so relieved. And I think that's the first time I've ever said that. Honestly. I think that's the first time I've ever said that. As I hope it's fake, because that is terrible. So most of the time I'm like, oh, that's dope. That has to be fake, because I can't believe that. Right? Like, I can't believe how great, like a spoiler. It's usually like a 6 spoiler. But this one has me cringing. It's like, that is not the God Butcher.
I'll be back in one more sec. But if you want to start wrapping up, I'll be back in a second.
Yes, I will. Not. I'm not. Well,
I'd like to move on to our final topic.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.
Grace,
Yes, it was.
I wonder how she's doing these
Ask
days.
Max. He probably knows.
I don't get it, but anytime someone makes fun of Grace, it's awesome. We'll be next up. We're gonna be talking about the merger and some of the stuff that's been going on, and what it means. some new positions have been announced for Warner Brothers Discovery, or what I am dubbing as WBD. So let's just start saying that now. WBD, that's the Warner Brothers Discovery. I did have an article posted. Yep, there it is. 1 second. Let me pull the article up. This will be our final topic of the day. Why I saved it for last is because it's, this is for me, this is big news. It really is. So basically, oh, I didn't share it yet. Sorry about that. I thought I
It's
did.
okay.
So why this is a big deal to me is because there are some things that are a little bit disheartening in this article. For me, the fact that Toby Emmerich is still going to be the head of content or U.S. content, and that directly overseeing things like DC Films Division. Wait, I think I said his title wrong. U.S. content, right? I believe is his title. We'll figure it out.
I'll
So
look it up.
I'll read through. So Discovery CEO David Zaslav had been set as the new leader of WBD since the time the deal was first proposed last May. Questions swirled for months, though, about the leadership team he would put in place. Earlier this week, he wound up favoring Discovery brass across the board, which is something I've been saying for a while, and people have been calling me crazy. I knew that most people that were in charge right now were not going to be there after this merger. A lot of people thought that like Ann Sarnoff was still going to be there. Um, it was up in the air with Jason Kylar, but then 6 other people are now gone as well, and that number is just going to keep climbing. But I do think that Toby Emmerich's contract ends in a year, next year. So it would cost more for them to forfeit the contract or let him walk than it would be to just be to keep him for the year and then replace him after that, especially because he directly reports to David Zaslav now. So in all reality, he's kind of just like the puppeteer for that, I suppose. But let's get to the actual stuff. Is that it? The story continues. I want to get to the ones. It just like goes through the list of what their names are.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that's what this article is.
Okay, ready? HBO chief Casey Bloys and Warner Brothers film and TV bosses Toby Emmerich and Channing Dunley also were confirmed to be continuing on in the new structure, as was international chief. Pardon me if I mispronounce this. Gerhard Zahler.
Gerhard Zeiler.
Oh yeah, that one. Yet the confirmation of the initial flight of execs didn't put to rest all the uncertainty. However, a significant vacancy for the example exists atop Turner Sports. We don't have to go towards sports. I don't need to know that. Although I did hear that they're going to be trying to make CNN more like what CNN started as, unbiased news. So that's
unbiased news is impossible. What you need is at least people representing and being honest about what their bias is. Give me 1 second, I get a phone call.
So yeah, I mean, listen, guys, I think that if everything goes well. Also, if you think about it, that year thing, by the way, the whole Toby Emmerich thing, how they delayed the Flash for a year, could be because they want to wait for him to be gone. I don't know. That could be something. But I do want to say this. As far as the Snyderverse goes, I think all the signs are starting to point towards the fact that in movies right now, like No Way Home came out, the impossible was seen on screen. Something no one thought was possible was put on screen. And I think that is intimidating to other other studios. What was accomplished with No Way Home was absolutely outrageous. Like whether you're a DC fan specifically, like solely a DC fan, you have to respect No Way Home. What they did was amazing. And if the reports and shit is true about Doctor Strange, it's only just
My
the beginning.
my brain's going to explode in May.
Yeah.
And what's kind of nuts though is I went last night. I went to the theater by my house to go see Ambulance, right?
Right.
And what's funny is the movie's coming out. No Way Home is still in theaters, and it comes out on physical this week.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how
Which
huge
is
it is. People are still
crazy.
going too.
It's good. It's great because
Oh,
from what I've
by
been
the way,
told, like what I've been told, I've seen it 3 times.
yeah, by the way, go see Sonic 2. It's really good. I'm going to be doing a
I've heard
pre-recorded
nothing but
video.
good. I've heard nothing but good things about Sonic 2.
Yeah.
And I need to go see it.
As my tweet said, they took what was good from the first one, expanded on it. I was honestly worried that it was going to be a one-hit wonder, but because the first movie was like such a crazy hidden success. Like I did not expect it to work, and it worked. And honestly, I was like, the sequel's probably not going to be as good. Just like in my head, I was like, I don't know if that could work twice. And damn, it did work twice. And I got my review pre-recorded as well as my air cut 4-part miniseries episode 2. I finally got the episode of Chad Michael Collins out today. Filmora came through with some troubleshooting. So that is finally up. Check it out. It's such a good interview. But I really think the Snyderverse does have a chance if the reports are true. I don't think the door is closing, guys. I don't. I think they're going to leave that door there because I do think it's going to be explored. Whether or not Zach ever comes back, I think we're going to see the continuation of that Snyder story in some form or fashion. I just have this weird feeling lately that it's that signs are pointing one way, pointing the right way for once. And I think there's a lot to look forward to as far as all of this stuff. The Batman had its greatness, and we got Sonic out. It's such a good time to be a pop culture fan, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. TW, where can they continue the conversation?
If you want to continue the conversation, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit at TWMcCabe34 as listed in my little Chiron there.
All right. And we'll be back, of course, soon. TW, if you're available Wednesday, I know it's your vacation, but we'll definitely be going live Wednesday. And then, Wednesdays are going to be like the YouTube day, and Sundays are going to be like the interview days.
Oh, right on,
And
it'll be I think my last day home because I'm going to visit some family over the sort of Easter weekend, but that should be my last day home. So yeah, I should be along.
all right. And I do want to say, this. I do want to say this. I know we've been pretty sporadic lately, but honestly, Jack leaving, JP, leaving, Caden leaving, and then, it honestly, dude, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I kind of lost my mojo for a while. Also, this month is the 1-year anniversary of my mother passing away. So, I haven't really been myself for a while. And not in a bad way. I've just been kind of doing my own thing. Just not streaming, I guess. Like, I just haven't had the desire to jump on camera, but I am committed to Wednesday and Saturday now. I mean, Wednesday and Sundays are my day off. So I do want to come back. I'm going to be mixing in the pre-recorded videos, and stuff I'll make. But for the most part, that's what I just, to everyone who always shows up and no matter what, watches the videos, even when it's sporadic at times, I do want to say thank you. You guys are awesome, and there's no better audience than a pop culture audience. Like it's just so fun because it's always so interactive and communal, and sometimes communal's good. So I can't wait to do the Sonic review, and then TW, can't wait to see you soon. All right.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right. And guys, remember, Springfield Comic Con is coming in July. Sagi and the Pop Culture Corner will be hosting a panel, and they'll be live all that day. So I'll be updating you more on that. And thank you to Safa. If you guys, check out safa.com and we'll get you 25% off. DM me for more details. I got my brand new luxury mattress, right? It's a $2,000 mattress, coming on Wednesday. And I also got a upholstered bed frame that's like it's out of this world as well.
Nice.
So it's approximately like it's like $6,000 of stuff that I got for free. So I mean, I'm going to be doing a review for the mattress as well. It's going to be awesome. But and then if you're in the Boston area, come see me. Come see me in the store. And I'm the assistant manager of customer service. So it's a good time, and we'll get you some good prices. So yeah, let's just not have this in our lives at all. And for Wednesday, I did want to talk about this sword and what the symbiote left behind could potentially have to do with it. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Antidote to the politics and all those woke stories.
So I am sorry. I hit that by accident. I just want to say that I hit that by accident. I was like, wait, what is this? Oh God.
Sorry.